everybody, it's Raina at the Closet Crafter Studio. So we are going to be working on today, continuing our junk journal. And last time we gutted our book and we made a reinforced spine for our hidden spine. And you can see I labeled the top so that I know exactly where my signatures are going to go. And I also cut this piece of spare cardstock so that we have a template for when we sew in our signatures. But we're going to put this aside for now because we are going to be working on signatures today. And I see a lot of posts on Facebook, the junk journal groups, about what to put in a signature, how to make a signature, what size should my signatures be, how many pages should I have in each signature. And the answer to most of those questions is it just kind of depends on you, what you like, what your preference is. If you're just starting out and you don't know what your preference is yet, I suggest for a standard book size 1.5 inch spine that you have 3 signatures that are about 10 to 12 pages. This will give you plenty of room to add in pockets and tucks and ephemera and still give you lots of space to write on. All right, so the second thing is, what do I use for my signatures? Lots of different paper types or the same paper type. Again, it depends on what you like and what your preference is. I like to add in lots of different colors, textures, prints, book pages, and things like that. So I'm going to go over with you what's in these signatures that I've made for the journal that we're working on now. So there are 3 signatures, and I have not cut them to size yet. I will do that, but I haven't gotten there yet. And each signature has 3 to 4 tea-dyed pages. All right, 3 to 4 tea-dyed pages. And then an assortment of different papers and book pages. Some might be similar, some might be different, or have the same kind of things. Let me show you. I use the Reader's Digest pages. I use pages from nature books. I use pages from, of course, I left all my books out in the other room. Anyway, you'll see them in here. I use pages from recipe books, stationery that I found, all kinds of things. Envelopes, little notepads, it's all in here. So these are how I make them up, and I just fold them in half, and then I'll go over how I cut them. And here are some of the Reader's Digest pages. Just 2 pages sewed around and a little punch in the top. Now this is an interesting page because it is a dictionary page from a 1898 or 1868, I can't remember, a very old dictionary. And so that's in here, and it's in really good shape. Really good shape. I'm shocked at how wonderful the pages still are. The binding, terrible. The pages, beautiful. All right, so a little note paper. I like to use a bunch of different sizes. Again, this is just tea-dyed paper. This is handmade paper. It's got a little bit of gold foil in it. Looks like some leaf pieces. Piece of stationery. And some ledger paper. Oh, tracing paper. And then another piece of tea-dye paper. And I tea-dye mine. I let them dry. And I do not iron them or anything. I love the crinkly look. I love the unique wrinkles that each one gets in it. As they get mostly dry, I will, sometimes lay something heavy over top just so that they flatten out a little bit, but I don't really worry about it too much. Okay, so that's the first signature. The second signature has another one of these. This is a recipe book page. Another small piece. Tea-dyed paper. Handmade paper. Coloring book page. Writing paper. Doily. And another tea-dyed paper. So just a variety of things. These are really interesting to put in journals because on days that I want to do something but not necessarily write or collage, it's a nice little way to just color something or add something just for that day in a journal. So I like to add the coloring pages in there. All right, and then this signature is tea-dye paper, an envelope, a nature book page, a piece of recycled paper, tea-dye paper, handmade paper, coloring book page, graph paper, tracing paper, and tea-dyed paper. And so let me make sure there's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, 10. And because both of these have this in it, I will probably separate it like this. All right, now you can also see that my pages are all different widths and heights, and if I try to put them in here, they don't fit. They're too big this way, they're too long that way. So what I did was I took a spare piece of tea-dyed paper and I cut it to the size that I wanted for my journal. So if I open it up, it comes to probably 1/4 of an inch on the top, bottom, and side. So that when I get them all in here and it's closed, I'm not going to have anything sticking out the top or the sides or the bottom. It's all just going to fit in here very nicely. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut down all of my paper to this size. And as I'm going, I might add in a couple of pieces of decorative paper, such as, you know, some more printed papers or scrapbook paper. And I don't always cut the scrapbook paper to this size. Sometimes I fold it in to make a tuck or fold it up to make a tuck or a pocket. But I'll show you all of that once it's all done. And then I'm still not ready to sew these in yet. So before I sew these in, I'm actually going to do some stitching. And then this is optional. You don't have to do this. I'm going to do some stitching on some of the pages. And I'm also going to add in some pockets and tucks and things. But I will make all of those things on a separate video. So today we're just preparing these to have things sewn onto them and to be put into the journal. So I'm going to cut everything down to size really quick and then give you guys a look. Alright, so I have all of the pages cut down, and as you can see, they fit in here very nicely. I did a few rough cuts, so they've got like some rough edges on a few of them, and they are all fitting in here nicely. And as you can see, the 3 signatures with 10 to 12 pages, these are all 10-page signatures. And then I added a decorative page, a 12 by 12 scrapbook page that I cut to size and put in here in each signature. And you can see they fit in here very nicely, and it's not so full yet that when I add ephemera and pockets and things in, that it's gonna be impossible to close. So there's still some space, but there's lots of pages. I'm going to go through and just show you the pages that I added. I added this really pretty decorative kind of watercolor, and I stayed with the greens to match the cover of the book. So that one, just a solid green, kind of textured. And then this green with golden butterflies that plays on kind of the gold flecks that was in the watercolor paper. So those are those. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and I will stitch around some of these pages and sew up the pockets and the tucks here from the folded papers that I did. And I'll show you those on the next video. And then we'll also be making our pockets and things to be sewn in here in the next video. So I'm going to put that to the side. Before I jump off here, I just wanted to show you really quickly that this is just an idea of some of the things you can put in signatures. I'm going to show you the very first ever junk journal that I did really quickly. And I flipped through it with you, and I put way too many pages in the signatures. But it also shows a huge variety of pages. So you can use pages from anything. You can use lined paper, book pages, old dictionary pages, ledger pages, whatever you like, whatever you have, put in there. What I'm going to show you is a junk journal that I did with my daughter because we wanted a summer writing project to kind of document our summer. And I went to the store. I bought a couple of old books from a secondhand shop. Didn't really know what I was doing. And we pulled out everything we liked and we put it all in here. So I'm just going to show you because there's such a huge variety. So we did tea-dyed paper, book pages, little fairy story pages. This is the same nature book pages that I'm still ripping pages out of, so they last a while. Winnie the Pooh pages. This is so covered I can't even tell what that is. Reader's Digest pages. This is actually a piece of a bag that we cut up. More tea-dyed paper, scrapbook paper. This is from a photo album that we found. This is scrapbook paper. And I found, as I was going through and doing this with my daughter, some of the pages that I added, I didn't really like the visuals on them. So I just covered them up with scrapbook paper, which is fine to do too. More tea-dyed paper. That's the rest of that bag. Scrapbook paper. Nature book pages. Storybook pages. Pages from a poetry book. Tea-dyed paper. Nature book pages. This is an old folder I cut up and put in here. Book page, bag, little notepad paper, book pages, doily, and we ran out of summer before we finished. But you can see just a large variety of different types of paper. All sewn in here. And in this book, I really didn't give much thought to the order or the composition or the pattern or formula I used to put the pages in. The more junk journals that I've done, the more I like to have about 3 pages of the tea-dyed paper. I'll pull one of these out. 1, 2, 3 of the tea-dyed paper. I like a lined paper. I like a few book pages and some smaller pieces of paper, and then some specialty papers such as the doilies or the tracing paper or the stationery. I like to throw in a piece of my handmade paper in each signature. So that's just kind of what I like to use. If you don't have a lot of variety of books or books you're willing to cut up or don't have the time or the will to do any tea dyeing, I do have some signatures available on my Etsy store. But that's basically how I put my signatures together. And if you would like a more detailed video of the kind of books that I get, what I look for in a book, just let me know and I'd be happy to share that with you. But I pretty much kind of whatever I like, that's what I put in there. It's a personal project, so do what you like, do what you feel. So I hope this video was informative, gave you a couple of ideas. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video where we will be putting together some pockets and tucks and things for our junk journal. Bye!